Okay, I've gone ahead and done a few things off camera. Basically, what I did is got my radio and receiver all plugged in and set up my servo arms so they were 90 degrees. The reason I was doing that is because this anti-rotation bracket had to go in, and it would make it kind of difficult to get in there and mess with that, getting that servo particularly 90. Did have to use a little sub trim. Typically I don't like to use sub trim, but we really don't have a choice here because we are using the Align 610 servos along with the Align arm that's splined for Futaba, and Align servos are splined for Futaba, something to remember. So what I wound up doing is having to put a couple points of sub trim on my pitch and my elevator, so the arms are perfectly 90 degrees in their setup. So then I turned around and did that, and I don't have the 3GX installed right now. I selected the HR3 swash plate, which is aileron in the back, and your two, aileron, elevator in the back, aileron pitch. And I always set up all my Atlanta helicopters without my 3GX in the mix. This will alleviate any issues of the gyros being activated and the 3GX coming out of its setup mode. Remember, the Align 3GX is a pass-through system. It is not like a V-bar where it needs to be hooked up. So you can go ahead and do all your mechanical setup like this, which is great, leaving your throttle stick and no trims induced or anything. You may have to use a little sub trim on the 550 because of the servo arms. So that's what we went ahead and did. Got that in place, got our anti-rotation bracket installed along with our canopy standoffs. Then I went ahead and actually removed the motor mount bracket. It was a little difficult to get the motor mount in there because of my hand sizes and stuff. So I removed the motor mount bracket, pulled it out, attached the motor to the motor mount bracket. Okay, and then once that was installed, the motor on the motor bracket, I slid it back in, leaving the motor loose, tightened up the 4 bolts, and then at that point set the pinion height. I lowered it all the way on the shaft. The pinion is about 1/8 of an inch above the main gear, which is perfect, and then slid the motor back for firm contact to the main gear, which we have pretty smooth there with barely any lash noticeable in the main gear. So that's been what we've done to this point. Installed the radio tray. I have the leads here for the wire. Just have my receiver sitting here because I have everything plugged in and my radio's off to the side. To continue forward here, basically it's going to come down to now getting the head on and doing our linkage from the servos up. So what I'm going to wind up doing right now is taking a few moments, getting all my linkages set up and stuff like that, and being right back and going over that with you. Okay, we're back. I've gone ahead and made our linkage setup here as per the book states at 24.5 millimeters between the ends of each link. On all 3 worked out perfect. We have a nice level swash plate. One thing I did do here is lifted up this swash plate to pull out the rod. I pulled off the arm off the servo and popped it on the ball, and then dropped it back down the assembly with the sticks in the middle position, and then snapped it back into place. And by looking at it and looking at the race of the ball here, swash plate is completely level. We have nice angle on the arms here. Then I turned around and assembled the links for the grips, which are the 3 millimeters. They basically run all the way down. They run the threads all the way down. And what I did is took a quick eyeball of the blade grip bolt to the center of the head on both sides, and that sizes them up probably about 99% there. I will pitch for 0 when we do our DIR setup, but as you can see, I do not have the 3GX in place here. What I've done is selected the correct CCPM application, have it wired in, okay, into my battery, just using just a regular NiCad here for the bench, and that works perfect. Oops. Okay, well, the battery's a little low, so I'll go slower. But it works perfectly. A positive pitch, negative pitch. Back elevator, forward elevator, and our aileron. Okay, I have to actually reverse. I have to reverse our ailerons. Let's do that now while we're sitting here. And the reason I do that now is so when we set everything up on the set everything up on the bench, I actually have to, it's like I have to flip aileron and pitch, which will be 1 and 3, which is not a big deal. Because sometimes you start trying to reverse servos, the servos won't reverse. Okay. And we'll have to turn around and reverse. Okay, so right aileron, left aileron, right aileron, left aileron, back elevator, forward elevator, positive pitch, negative pitch. So now what I need to do is the sub trim that I put in since I flipped my servos. We have, we just have to flip the numbers to the corresponding ones. So. So I just completed both. So that's all completed now. We have everything going the correct way, and we're good to go. Okay, great. Okay, so just an idea of what's going on here. What I did is I took a moment and have everything plugged in, hardwire, no 3GX in the way. We did our linkages. You can tell everything is level by looking at it. Now there's another way. Once I test fly the helicopter, if I start doing some slow pirouettes and I hover right in front of me and I see the helicopter peeling off left or peeling off right, I'll go back and adjust these linkages to get it mechanically perfect. That's basically what you want to do to keep your pirouetting, you know, and even though we have pirouetting compensation, you want to be able to pirouette right in front of yourself without the machine kind of drifting off. That means you're getting a little bump from your swash plate. Turn around and mechanically just put these arms on with the linkages here. So everything is getting close. I'm going to put my screws in my servos. We'll get some other electronics going on here. We'll get the tail boom in, get our linkage rod. We'll have to set up our tail servo. And I'll do this also without the 3GX in the way. Get it perfectly set up so once I program the 3GX, everything's great. I'll plug it right in and everything will work. So we'll be back. Okay, we're back again. So here, another little thing that I could show you is with the Align tail servo, you don't need the gyro in because you can set it up. So what I went ahead and did was pulled it out because this system is very tight in here and very compact. Set it up, the ball's at 13 millimeters off center, and I'll go ahead and snap this into place, relocate all my bolts and put it into place, and we're done. Still, as you see, I do not have the 3GX involved in the setup. That'll be completely later, and the only things that will be involved is I'm going to update to the beta software, the 1.2 beta, and then at that point we'll just be reversing things on the 3GX. So if the model tilts backward, the swash plate goes forward. If the model tilts to the right, the swash plate goes to the left, and doing our tail setup, and then finally doing our ESC setup. So we're moving right along, and we'll see you back in a few more minutes. I'm going to go ahead and reinstall this, and we'll continue on from there. Thank you. Okay, I've gone ahead and done some final installation here on the 550. Basically what I've done is mounted the 3GX on the carbon plate on the bottom of the frame here with one piece of tape. I've run my aileron and pitch servo wires down inside the frames. I will secure these a little better and get some protection against those. I got my receiver mounted right here. Right now I'm just using an 8-channel receiver. Once I get it all configured and stuff, I'll probably switch it over to an S-Bus receiver, but for right now I'm just doing wire to wire. That's what I had laying around. Wire to wire right to the S-Bus. What I did also, since I'll be tweaking the setups, is I left my data port plugged into the 3GX and left it over here so I can get it connected to the laptop a little easier and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll all work out. I can not have to worry about removing the 3GX. Setup should be pretty straightforward. Don't know if I'm going to use a U-back or try and manipulate a battery pack into this whole system, but it looks like I'll be operating off a U-back because I'll have a 6-cell up front. So what I'm going to do next is go ahead and get a battery on it and start working on the DIR stuff, which is going to be pretty straightforward. Tail linkage and stuff like that, and we'll be back. Okay, we're back with the Align Trex 550 V2 Pro Kit or Super Combo Kit. I've gone ahead because the 3GX is pretty well tucked inside here. I do a lot of flipping around with the helicopter and stuff. So I've got my DIR all done, forward and back, left and right, and pitch. Okay. I've also done my tail, my end limits, along with direction. I'm just powering it right now with just a separate NiCad battery. Looks like in the directions they want you to use a U-back, so I'll have to wire that in. I've repositioned my tail control rod horn or holder here. I'm going to crazy glue the slider into place. No binding on the tail. I'm running about 31% gain. Everything is all set up. Everything looks great. There doesn't look to be any interaction on the swash plate. Swash plate looks very level, but I'll fine tune that once we're out flying it. Still have to turn around and plug the motor in, attach the aligned speed controller that I'll be using to the motor and stuff, and I'll Velcro this to the frame and then plug it into the motor. On the what I'll do is I'll actually plug it directly into the receiver that I'm using, and basically this helicopter is done. The next time you'll see a video of this helicopter will be for its first test flight. So there again, the Trex 550E version 2 build, just to kind of go over certain points. If you want, make sure you install this servo here while you're doing your frame set, just to keep things easier for you. Motor mount also, probably the best thing to do is pull the motor mount out, attach the motor to it. When you have your frames set up, you could slide it back in and put your mesh there. Your 3GX will be mounted in the bottom. I have my wires pretty much neatly done over here. Everything kind of, nothing will chafe. I'll protect some of this. Head was very simple. Pulled the grips apart, greased our thrust bearings, re-Loctited everything, put it back together, Loctite on our stanchion post. These small bolts here were Loctited in. All of our balls on our swash plate were Loctited in. Loctite was used very sparingly on all of the bolts that go through any type of carbon into metal blocks. Plastic, I don't do anything, they're all self-tappers. Boom, slid right in perfectly. The rod lengths are very well, they work out really, really well. Get as much deflection to the tail rotor hub as you can on the outboard side, and the same thing on the inboard side. Then you could dial it down in your radio and your endpoints for your pirouette speed. I'm running a stock Expert 550 file, or between a 500 and a 600 in my 3GX software. I haven't started tweaking anything. I may just tweak a few things here or there, maybe just overall throw. Blades will get pitched for 0, and that's it. And it'll be flying. Basically, we're about 3.5, say 3 hours at this point to get the helicopter at this point on build time. So very quick build. It is the ultimate. Align helicopters are the ultimate in helicopters. There are no better helicopters in the world at this point. So stay tuned for more information. I'll be updating you more on this with more video. Next video will be some test flights, and then we'll give it some smack and see how it holds up. As we know, plenty of 550s out there, and they hold up fantastic. Have a great day. Okay, I've gone ahead and done all the final setups on our 550 V2. Basically, at this point, the model is ready for flying. I've soldered on my Deans. I've run my throttle wire, which is also your BEC, right into the throttle channel of the 3GX. I've done my setup, done my DIR, running a stock program in the speed controller right out of the box, plugged it in. Everything works great. Give a little bench run here. Everything looks good, sounds good. Everything comes alive. Recognizes the battery. Nice soft spool up. Hold works, right? Everything is moving in the correct direction. So the last thing for me to do is throw on the blades, put it in DIR mode, make sure it's pitched for 0. I'll run around 12 degrees of pitch, and at that point I'll give you a fast look at, everyone knows the DIR. Jeff Fastbinder's done some videos of DIR. My swash value numbers will probably be right around 50 and 50 on the pitch, and I'll put it at 55 and 55 for my aileron and elevator, and fly from there. So our next report will be on a flying machine with some video from there. Thank you again. It's been a great build of the Trex 550 V2. I'm Dino Spadaccini, and I am with Factory Team Align.